What's up, y'all? It's Chug Rock, also known as Evangelic. What I want to talk about on this video is bounce music. You know what I'm saying? New Orleans bounce music. You know, me, I like this kind of music. You know what I'm saying? It ain't number twerk music. You know. I like the New Orleans sound. Of bounce. You know what I'm saying? Bounce ain't just not like no regular twerk music. You know what I'm saying? It's its own like flavor. You know what I'm saying? New Orleans twerk songs, which is twerk music, which is bounce, is not like just a regular twerk song. It's the sound that distinguish from just a regular twerk song. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. You know what I'm saying? It's distinguishable. You know what I'm saying? You know, bounce music. You know, of course it got its sound like from New York. You know what I'm saying? But New Orleans took that flavor of that New York boom bap and made it and turned it into their own sound, turned it into a sound of their own. You know what I'm saying? And put it into like music for the women to bounce their butt to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I love that kind of music. I love when I love the sound and I love the lyrics that come out the music. You know what I'm saying? That's attached to it. I love it. Like it go hand in hand and it go together. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the women in New Orleans that do bounce music. You know what I'm saying? I like all bounce artists. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I love bounce female rappers. You know what I'm saying? Shaking that butt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just a fun type of music. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love New Orleans bounce music. Like for real. You heard me? Like you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. When them women of New Orleans hear that bounce music, they go crazy. They start shaking their ass. New Orleans is known for their twerk. For women, New Orleans is known for twerk music, which is bounce, and they known for women are known there to shake they behind. You know what I'm saying? They popular for shaking they behind. You know what I'm saying? With the bounce music. You'll properly see that in New Orleans. You really see that in New Orleans. When some bounce music come on. Women that shake they behind over it. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love when women twerk. You know what I'm saying? I love twerk songs. You know what I'm saying? I love bounce music. Which is twerk music. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love the art because the sound and the bounce lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's somewhat sexual. You know what I'm saying? It's sexual. Bounce is sexual music. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. And I love it. I love sexual music. It's up my alley. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. And sex music, it's up my alley. You know what I'm saying? So bounce music is a form of sex music. You know what I'm saying? It talks about sexual things. You know what I'm saying? I'm hypersexual, sexualized. You know what I'm saying? I love that sexual shit. I love when women talk freaky. You know what I'm saying? That is exactly what the women bounce that make bounce music do. You know what I'm saying? Talk about their bodies and how good they pussy is, and how they, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear stuff like that, freaky shit. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? All for that type of music. Like for real. And that's what I like. That's why I'm always gonna like. You know what I'm saying? Over sexualized shit, you know what I'm saying? Like twerking music in general, you know what I'm saying? Bounce music shit, I like it. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be me. That's forever gonna be me, you know what I'm saying? You heard me? Like seriously, you heard me? And can't nobody change my mind about that, you know what I'm saying? When I go to New Orleans, I wanna hear some bounce music. I wanna see some women twerking their ass behind it, you know what I'm saying? You know, I want to have a good time, seeing it. You know what I'm saying? I want to fuck hoes there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Yeah, that's what I like. Love bounce music that's from New Orleans, and I love bounce songs and twerk music in general. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little perv, I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, y'all. Bounce music the shit, Twerk music in general is the shit, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like seriously, man. Bounce shit, go hard, you heard me. Like you know what I'm saying? Dope, it's interesting, it's entertaining to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously. Y'all be cool out there, you take it easy, you know what I'm saying?